So, welcome to Jumbo IS and welcome to our lecture series called Daily MCQ Practice. In this lecture series, we cover a particular day's current affairs through a set of 4 to 5 MCQs. The idea behind this lecture series is very simple. We want you to revise your current affairs on a daily basis, and what better way to revise your current affairs than by getting the much needed MCQ practice? Because through this MCQ practice, you'll be practicing 4 to 5 MCQs on a daily basis, and these 4 to 5 MCQs would add up to more than 1200 MCQs by the time you're ready for your prelims examination. So you would have practiced 1200 MCQs from the topic of current affairs alone. I'm not talking about static subjects like polity, economy, geography. No, just from current affairs. And ask any successful aspirant and they'll tell you that 1200 MCQs from the topic of current affairs alone are more than sufficient. You wouldn't have to worry about your current affairs portion as far as your prelims examination is concerned. So make this lecture series a part of your daily routine. Make it a daily habit of yours. All right, let's begin today's discussion, starting with question number 1. Consider the following statements regarding critical minerals. A committee constituted by Ministry of Mines in 2022 has identified 30 critical minerals for India. National Critical Minerals Mission was launched by Ministry of Mines in 2024 to secure critical minerals supply chain. India is 100% import dependent for lithium, cobalt, and rare earth elements. How many of the above statements are correct? Now, you all know about critical minerals by now. Okay, if you don't, then listen to me. I'll try to explain it in a summarized fashion. Okay, now critical minerals are those minerals which are very important for a country's national security. Okay, and economic development. Okay, so these are the two goals that these critical minerals fulfill. But the reason why they are called critical is because their supply is limited and their supply chain is vulnerable for a particular country. Okay, so it is very difficult to get access to these minerals. Okay, but these minerals are important for your national security and economic development. For example, lithium. Lithium is used in lithium ion batteries which are used in electric vehicles. Okay. Cobalt is also used in batteries. Rare earth elements are used in electric motors which are used for electric vehicles. Then, you produce renewable energy from solar energy. But what happens when the sun doesn't shine? Surplus solar energy is stored in batteries, but these batteries also require critical minerals like lithium, cobalt, rare earth elements. Okay. Plus, there are now missiles, electronics, components, AI data centers which require these critical minerals. And as you all know, that AI is very important for everything, not just India's defense, but for India's economic development as well. So these are those minerals which are important for national security and economic development and whose supply chain is vulnerable. Okay. Now, the thing is, every country has its own list of critical minerals because some countries have access to the supply of lithium and cobalt, some countries don't. So every country has created its own list of critical minerals. Now, India has also created its own list of critical minerals. India has identified 30 minerals as critical. Okay. Now, this list was identified or was prepared by a committee constituted by Ministry of Mines in 2022. So, first statement is absolutely correct. Okay. Now, because their supply chain is vulnerable and most of these minerals like lithium, cobalt, which are absolutely essential, okay, rare earth elements, these are absolutely essential. But India does not have access to them domestically. And that is why India is 100% import dependent when it comes to these minerals. And you know what? Which country has the most dominant or a chokehold like situation over these minerals? It's China. And we all know that China is not a friendly country. China controls the supply of lithium, cobalt, and rare earth elements globally. Okay. So, if tomorrow China decides to stop the supply of these minerals to India, India will be in a problematic situation, right? That is why we launched National Critical Minerals Mission to explore these critical minerals, mining of these critical minerals in India. And if these critical minerals are available abroad, then India will sign agreements with those countries, right? So, National Critical Minerals Mission was launched by Ministry of Mines to secure critical mineral supply chain. This is also correct. And third statement is also correct. Okay, we are import dependent, 100% import dependent. So all three statements are correct. The answer is C. Question number 2. Which of the following statements is correct regarding ethanol blended petrol program? Launched in 2003, it aims to achieve 20% ethanol blending in petrol by 2035. It is implemented by Ministry of New and Renewable Energy. The program seeks to reduce India's import dependence on fossil fuels as well as reduce greenhouse gas emissions. Now the question is, which of the following statements are not correct? Okay, the word not is not mentioned over here. Nonetheless, now look, ethanol blended petrol program was launched in 2003, absolutely correct, and the aim was to achieve 20% ethanol blending by 2025, not 2035, 2025. And we have achieved this aim of blending petrol. 20% of petrol is ethanol now. We have achieved this aim. Okay, so first statement is false because of this word 2035. It's actually 2025. Now, it is implemented by Ministry of New and Renewable Energy. No, it is implemented by Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas. Okay, so this statement is also false. The program seeks to reduce India's import dependence on fossil fuels as well as reduce greenhouse gas emissions. This part is absolutely correct. Okay, now it was asked which of the following statements are not correct. 1 and 2 are not correct. The answer is A. Clear? Question number 3. Which of the following statements are correct regarding Paika Rebellion? It was a tribal armed rebellion against East India Company in the state of today's Andhra Pradesh. The Paikas rose in rebellion under their leader Bakshi Jagabandhu before the revolt of 1857. The main causes behind this revolt were imposition of salt monopoly, British land revenue policy, social disrespect. Okay. Now the Paika rebellion happened in Odisha. Okay, in 1817. So definitely before 1857. Now this rebellion was led by Paikas. Now Paikas were a military class under the Gajapati dynasty, okay, or the Gajapati rulers of Odisha, who were there before, well, British rule in Odisha. Okay, so when the British came to power in Odisha, well, they disempowered Paikas. Many of the concessions and land grants that were given to Paikas, this military class which was employed under Gajapati rulers, well, those military grants were taken. Under land revenue policies, they were exploited. There was some social respect also, some religious disrespect also, social disrespect also. So all this created a feeling of disenchantment among Paikas and they rebelled. Their leader was Bakshi Jagabandhu. Okay, so second statement is absolutely correct because it happened in 1817. It was done by Paikas and whose leader was Bakshi Jagabandhu. Now, it was a tribal. No, it was not a tribal revolt because it was done by Paikas, a military class. Armed rebellion against the East India Company, not in Andhra Pradesh, in Odisha. So, first statement is false. Okay. Now, main causes behind this revolt was imposition of salt monopoly in the coastal areas of Odisha. Yes, British land revenue policies that exploited Paikas and social disrespect of Paikas. So, this part is correct. 2 and 3, answer is B. Clear? And last but definitely not the least, question number 4. Which of the following is not India's nationally determined contributions under Paris Agreement? At least 50% of the installed electricity generation capacity from non-fossil fuel sources by 2030. Reduce emissions intensity by 36% from 2005 levels. Create an additional 2.5 to 3 billion tons carbon sink through forest and tree cover. Now, under Paris Agreement that happened in 2015, it was known as COP21 under United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. Okay, so it was a climate conference, Paris Climate Agreement in 2015. Now, under this agreement, every country basically conveyed to UNFCCC that what they are going to do by 2030 to reduce climate change. Okay. Now, these contributions by each and every individual country was known as nationally determined contributions, NDCs of each country. So, India's NDCs were also there. Okay. Now, what were some of the NDCs by India? Well, India said that by 2030, 50% of our electricity generated will come from non-fossil fuel sources. This is correct. India also said that it is going to reduce its emission intensity by not 36% but by 45% from 2005 levels. So this statement is false. And India also said that it will plant additional forests and trees, because these plants and trees would suck carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, because plants perform photosynthesis. We all know that. And through photosynthesis, they take up carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, right, and release oxygen. So by planting more trees, India said that we will create an additional carbon sink of 2.5 to 3 billion tons. Okay, so this is correct. Clear? So 1 and 3 are only correct. Answer is D. And with that, we conclude today's session. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. And I'm sure it has added value to your preparation. But it would add more value if you're consistent and regular with this lecture series and you revise this lecture as well. Now, by revision, I mean taking a deep look at written detailed solutions to each and every MCQ we just discussed. Now, these solutions are provided in our notes, and these notes are available on our Telegram channel. The link to our Telegram channel is provided in the comment section just below this video. Alright, so I hope you will be revising this lecture as well as all the other lectures that would be posted on this channel. Clear? On that note, I'll be signing off with the promise of seeing you again with another set of new MCQs. Thank you, everyone.